Hey, hey, Disney fans, planners, and reluctant visitors. I'm Becky, and this is Touring Plans Teaches. This week, we've got Walt Disney World Touring Strategy, episode 202, and we're going to continue talking about early entry strategies. Last week in episode 201, we went over early entry strategies for Animal Kingdom and Epcot, and this week we're moving on to Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. Early entry, in case you've forgotten, is 30 minutes at every park before the park officially opens. If you're a Disney resort guest or staying at one of a few good neighbor hotels, you get to enter the park early and take advantage of those lower wait times. So we're going to talk about strategies to maximize your time savings. Now, Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom are both a little more complicated. They have many more attractions that have high waits in the middle of the day, so you have more options for how to save that time. I'll go over a couple of strategies, but I'm guessing a lot of you are going to debate me in the comments too, so I'm ready for it. Let's start by talking about Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios is pretty unique in that it has so many high weight attractions and not many low weight attractions, just a lot of shows. So we've got these 7 attractions that all average well over 30 minutes of wait time in the middle of the day. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do all 7 in the first 30 minutes. You'll be lucky if you can do 2 of them. But we still want to have some strategy about which ones we're going to attack first. So we have Rise of the Resistance that has the highest average weight, followed by Slinky Dog Dash. Then we've got Tower of Terror, Millennium Falcon, Rock and Roller Coaster, Runaway Railway, Toy Story Mania, and Alien Swirling Saucers. Alien Swirling Saucers does not deserve to have over a 30-minute wait, so if you see that, just avoid that one. And shockingly, it's not going to show up on many of our strategies here. But let's talk about the map of Hollywood Studios and see where these attractions are and how that might play into our strategy. So here we've got Hollywood Studios. Rise of the Resistance is over in Galaxy's Edge, Batuu, Slinky Dog Dash, obviously in Toy Story Land, so already these are a little far apart. Tower of Terror comes in 3rd place and is over on Sunset Boulevard, a totally opposite corner of the park. Millennium Falcon, back in Galaxy's Edge. Rock and Roller Coaster by Tower of Terror. Runaway Railway is right in the middle of the park, very easy to find as you're entering the park. Then Toy Story Mania and Alien Swirling Saucers back in Toy Story Land. So we can see that some things are sort of grouping together, and maybe this is going to make an impact in the strategy that we choose, so we're not crisscrossing back and forth across the park. Where every early entry strategy should start for Hollywood Studios is Rise the Resistance. And this is really different than the advice I was giving even a few months ago, where I said to start your day on Sunset Boulevard, avoid the crowds. But this is because of some very interesting operational choices that Disney is making. Hollywood Studios is the only park that regularly opens even before early entry is advertised to start. So let's say the regular park opening for Hollywood Studios is at 8:30 a.m. That would mean typically early entry should start at 8 a.m. What we see at Hollywood Studios is that they open up security by 7:15 and they tend to let you in the turnstiles by 7:30. Even though they let you in the park that early, Rise of the Resistance is usually the only attraction that opens before that 8 o'clock time frame. So everyone's rushing to attractions, but the only one you'll actually be able to ride before early entry officially starts is Rise of the Resistance. Now, Rise has a lot of operational issues. It goes down frequently. So it may happen that you get there and it's not up. But most of the time they're able to bring it up early in the morning, and you can get through Rise of the Resistance with a minimal wait and before early entry even starts. So that makes it the obvious choice. You got to get it out of the way before early entry even begins. Great option. You're still going to wait about 12 minutes. There's a lot of pre-shows and a lot of people have this same idea, but if you get there early, you can get it out of the way. 7-minute duration. Then we always want to go to Slinky Dog Dash. And in order to do that, we've got Rise the Resistance here in Galaxy's Edge. We have to walk through the rest of Galaxy's Edge, not getting lost because they have lots of hidden corners there, and walk into Toy Story Land right to Slinky Dog Dash, avoiding Giant Buzz because he's at Alien Swirling Saucers. If you can time Rise of the Resistance correctly and it's up, you can get to Slinky Dog Dash almost right at the official beginning of early entry. You're probably going to have less than a 20-minute wait. All the people that got in extra early like you and went straight to Slinky will already be in line, but this is much better than any other wait you're going to see for this attraction the entire rest of the day. So you can wait less than 20 minutes, it'll have a 3-minute ride, and if you're lucky, it'll still be before official park opening once you get off of Slinky. Now, after those 2 steps is where some of my strategies diverge, and I'm going to present 2 different ideas today so we can talk through what your choices might be. The first one is going to assume that you haven't purchased Genie Plus for Hollywood Studios. Now, a lot of times Genie Plus is going to save you a lot of time at Hollywood Studios, but it is sort of a frustrating park for using Genie Plus. So maybe you choose not to purchase it and not to deal with that hassle. If that's the case, and especially during this late summer and early fall, while Tower of Terror is having a sort of stealthy half refurbishment, I think your next step after Slinky Dog Dash should be going to Sunset Boulevard and avoiding the waits here. A lot of people during early entry are going to rush Toy Story Land and Star Wars, and since you got those 2 out of the way, you're done with Rise of the Resistance and Slinky Dog Dash, and the park hasn't quite officially opened yet, it's a great time to make it down Sunset Boulevard and knock out these 2 high-weight attractions. So you're going to be done with Slinky up here, and you're going to want to walk all the way down to Tower of Terror. This is a pretty long walk. It's going to take you about 7 minutes. There is one sneaky cut through that you can see right here by the Hollywood Brown Derby, so you don't have to go down the main stretch that's going to be crowded with people entering the park. That can save you a smidgen of time if you really want to. By the time you get to Tower of Terror, you should still have less than a 15-minute wait. This is crazy time savings. Absolutely take advantage of it if you can, and if you're not going to use Genie Plus for it. Then you have the lengthy Tower of Terror pre-shows and actual drops. Hopefully that wasn't a spoiler for anyone. And then you can walk right over to Rock and Roller Coaster. It'll have a little bit more of a wait because you just spent time in line and experiencing Tower of Terror. Now the park's officially open, more people are coming in, but you should still have less than a 20-minute wait, which is still good, and a 1.5-minute ride at Rock and Roller Coaster. Why did we choose this if we don't have Genie Plus? Because a lot of the other attractions with high waits, like Runaway Railway and the other Toy Story Land attractions, see their wait times drop in the evening. And so you can wait and go to those. Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror don't drop as much as the Toy Story Land attractions or Runaway Railway. So you want to get those out of the way early, and then you can time the rest through the rest of the day. The strategy changes, though, if you do have Genie Plus. If you have Genie Plus, I would still recommend getting Rise of the Resistance and Slinky out of the way first thing. But then I would make your first Genie Plus reservation be Tower of Terror, and I'd do Rock and Roller Coaster and another Genie Plus reservation. Those are both going to save you a lot of time, and you should be able to get both of them without one selling out before the other. So if you've got those on Genie Plus, that frees you up to do less walking in the morning. So you're going to get off of Slinky Dog Dash, and instead of walking down Sunset Boulevard, you can stay in Toy Story Land and do Toy Story Mania. This also gets really high waits in the middle of the day. They'll slack back off in the evening, but if you can knock it out early in the morning, you'll have less than a 15-minute wait, and you'll have that 7-minute ride, and you can beat your whole family and brag about your score all day, which is a great benefit. Then you only have a 3-minute walk to get to Runaway Railway, right at sort of the middle of the park. And you're going to beat most of the crowds here too, but we're already well past regular park opening. It does attract a lot of attention as people enter the park, so you'll have something less than a 30-minute wait probably. Still really good for this attraction, and then you've got your 5-minute Runaway Railway ride. After this point, you've got Genie Plus, so you've probably already booked Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster. You can bide your time by doing some attractions with lower wait, like Muppet Vision, Star Tours, do some shows, and wait out your Genie Plus reservations. Then you should have a pretty decent day at Hollywood Studios. Now let's wrap things up with Magic Kingdom. Now, Magic Kingdom has a list of high weight attractions during early entry that's much shorter than Hollywood Studios. This is a little counterintuitive because Magic Kingdom has so many attractions. But this is because Disney is tricky and shuts off half the park during early entry. So during early entry, you'll only have access to Main Street USA, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. You can't go over into Adventureland or Frontierland. That limits your options for what you can accomplish during early entry, so instead of having a million different strategies, I'm just going to give you a couple. The three main attractions that have high waits that are available to you during early entry are Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Peter Pan's Flight, and Space Mountain. Now, if we look at the map of the Magic Kingdom, once again, these are a little spread out. So we have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train right in the heart of Fantasyland, Peter Pan's Flight off to the other side, and then Space Mountain down in Tomorrowland. It's going to be really hard to do all three of these even during the first 30 minutes, so we need to have a strategy for how we're going to attack that. This time I'm going to split up our strategies into two totally different strategies. One if you don't have Genie Plus, and one if you do. And again, you could choose different attractions to be parts of these, but I think these are strategies that make sense to save a lot of time and not walk all across the park. So let's assume in our first scenario that you're not purchasing Genie Plus for your day in the Magic Kingdom. If that's the case, I'm going to have you start at Peter Pan's Flight. So you're going to walk down Main Street and go through the castle and then head to the left. This is counterintuitive to a lot of people, and that's because Seven Dwarfs Mine Train has such a bigger wait during the middle of the day. But Seven Dwarfs Mine Train doesn't come up right at the start of early entry like half the time. Super unreliable first thing in the morning. So if you're heading there very first thing and then it happens to be shut down, then you have to scramble and figure out another plan. Instead, Peter Pan's Flight is up almost 100% of the time during early entry. So head there first and have almost no wait for it. If you're at the beginning of the pack, you can basically walk right on. It should be something like a 5-minute wait. You go on your ride through Neverland, come back, then that's when you check to see if Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is up. Typically, most of the time, if you give it a few minutes, it'll be up, and so you can walk over. You'll have a little bit more of a wait, but it'll still be pretty early in early entry. So something like a 30-minute wait and then your 3-minute ride. This also provides you the opportunity to walk right on past and continue and go on to Space Mountain instead if Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is still down. So that's my recommended 1-2 punch, especially if you're not using Genie Plus for your Magic Kingdom day. Then, even after you ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you can hike your way down to Space Mountain, and because so many people tend to go to Fantasyland during early entry, Space Mountain still isn't going to have much of a wait, something like 20 minutes. But you have to walk all the way from Fantasyland all the way down to Space Mountain. And don't pass go, don't collect $200, definitely don't go on the Speedway, just walk all the way to Space Mountain. That's a long walk. But then you're going to get those 3 attractions done, and you'll still maybe be 30 minutes after official park opening and have the whole rest of your day to choose from a lot more attractions in Magic Kingdom. Now, if you have Genie Plus, this strategy changes significantly. If you have Genie Plus, one of the best ways to use it in Magic Kingdom is to concentrate all of the reservations that you're making to a specific land or two. If you don't do that, you'll typically end up walking across the park many more times than you would want to. And you're at Disney, you're already walking a lot. You want to avoid that. So I'm going to tell you an early entry strategy that you're going to pair with using Genie Plus, and you're going to focus all of your Genie Plus reservations in one land. In this case, I'm going to tell you to focus all those Genie Plus reservations in Fantasyland, which means that then we don't have to rope drop Fantasyland, which gives us a lot of advantages. So I'm going to assume I'm booking Genie Plus reservations in Fantasyland. That includes Peter Pan's Flight, and probably I'm even purchasing individual Lightning Lane access for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So I'm going to eventually just skip all the waits in Fantasyland later in the afternoon and evening. That frees me up to go early entry in Tomorrowland. I can go straight to Space Mountain, and it'll have something like a 5-minute wait. However long it takes me to walk to the rocket ships, that's how long my wait's going to be first thing at Space Mountain. Then I've got that ride, and I have to walk all the way back out. But I'm still in Tomorrowland, and there's still almost nobody there because they're all in Fantasyland, and I get to walk past them in line later with my fancy Genie Plus reservations. So I can go to Buzz Lightyear next. It should have less than a 10-minute wait. I can become a galactic hero and brag to everyone all day. You can tell I like doing these competitive ones early. And by that point, we're really close to official park opening. So I've done 2 attractions. At official park opening, Frontierland and Adventureland open up. And here there's a wealth of attractions that get really high weights later in the day, including Jungle Cruise. But I'm not making Genie Plus for Jungle Cruise because I'm saving all my Genie Plus for Fantasyland. So since this land isn't open during early entry, I can actually rope drop it at official park opening. I've done 2 attractions over in Tomorrowland, and I rush over, and I'm there with everyone else right when Adventureland opens. And so it's like I'm back to rope dropping again. All those lines get reset because no one was in here during early entry. This is a great hack. Even if you don't have early entry, this is where you should rope drop because it's the only place that you can still rope drop without those early entry crowds ahead of you. So I'm going to walk all the way across. You have to book it across the hub and all those crowds entering for the first time in the day. And you're going to go to Jungle Cruise, where you should have less than a 10-minute wait. This is huge because this thing regularly has over an hour wait, even by like 10 o'clock in the morning. You go for your 8-minute ride, you see the backside of water, and then you're going to avoid everything else in Adventureland for the moment because they all have lower weights, and you're going to go hit the mountain range. I would pick either Splash or Big Thunder. If you don't want to get wet first thing in the day, then go to Big Thunder. Otherwise, Splash has the bigger weights more quickly, so you might as well knock it out. So you've got to walk all the way around here to get to Splash. That's where I have the number 4 right now instead of Big Thunder. If you're going to Splash, you should still have a less than 30-minute wait here. Some people have chosen to skip Jungle Cruise and go straight to Splash Mountain to avoid some of the waits there. So we have a little bit of a lengthy wait there, and then our 11-minute boat ride. Or you could go to Big Thunder, where you're going to have less than a 15-minute wait, but while you're waiting for Big Thunder, Splash is going to get even longer lines. So that's where you have to make that trade-off. So you can do Splash and then Big Thunder, or vice versa, but you have to figure out what the waits are going to look like while you're there. That covers our early entry strategies for both Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. Now, if you have other ideas or ways that you like to spend early entry in those parks, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm ready for some healthy debate there. The next 2 weeks, our family's going to be on summer vacation, and therefore so is Touring Plans Teaches. Your homework while we're away is to share some of these videos with friends that are going to Disney World soon, and to drop questions in the comments about what other strategies you want to see for which parks, what types of touring parties, what situations, what crowd levels, and that's what we're going to address when we get back. So I'll catch you again on August 12th with our next episode. For now, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.